plywood here, as you can see, we're almost completely sold out of it because a lot of small business owners have to purchase this when their businesses get vandalized. These sticks right here, very popular for Portland protests. Homeless people will, by law, be camping on your front yard. And homeless people prefer yards that are well kept. When you steal a car, come right here to the key section. Every criminal is going to want one of these here. These earplugs here are very popular among Portland residents, perfect for anyone that doesn't want to hear banging, drilling, or the truth. This caution tape right here is actually very important because the police in the area have actually run out of crime tape. Let's say you're going through the front door of a small business. You go like this. This one is going to be one of our most popular for sale, obviously. If you're looking for a brick to throw through the window of a small business, that's going to be in Home and Gardening in aisle 4. This hose right here is actually perfect, and a lot of criminals use these to siphon gas out of people's cars. This propane is perfect for cooking. You can go potatoes, hot dogs, obviously fentanyl, gaps and cracks. This is perfect for any Portland residents' political ideology. So you want to go under like this and really have a firm grip right on the top. This door right here is actually one of our top selling doors. It's very easy to get through, as you can see. We call it the Joe Biden immigration policy. If you're looking for spray paint for vandalism, aisle 9.
Alrighty. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the fine program. I'm your host, Joe Neerman, aka Good Lawgic. I stumbled on this story that I put here in my thumbnail, and I was like, oh, I need more video of this. More video of this. Columbia University Free Palestine protesters break into the library, and before it's said and done, they're chanting, "Let us out, let us out, let us out." Oh my gosh, all of them whipping out their phones and uploading online, just what complete losers they look like. Lacking in any self-awareness, which is why I put up as my goal here, that if we manage to get our objective of 10 yellows, 15 yellow super chats, $10 or more, that I will be taking live online here. I will be taking live online here a self-awareness test to see just how self-aware I am, because I don't know. Maybe I'm very self-aware. How do you know if you're self-aware if you haven't taken a self-awareness test? So if I take a test like this, which frankly, you have to put a lot of stock in them because it's on the internet and someone put it up there on a web page, so it must be real. So I have to put a lot of stock in whatever the results of that self-awareness test are. I will be taking that live on the air here if in fact we manage to reach our goal, which is a very doable goal. It's a very doable goal. We'll have to see what happens with that. So I almost didn't use that opening. I try to find something like amusing for my opening in lieu of actually doing the work of creating an intro. So I just have this floating intro of whatever something that made me laugh. And I almost use this. I almost use a different opening, which I'll share with you next. I thought this was just funny. It's really the caption. It's really the caption that made me laugh. This is the caption here, which is Summer of Love 2.0 is gonna be lit this year. You all remember Summer of Love in 2020. Well, 2025, it's a 5-year cycle. We're looking potentially at Summer of Love 2.0. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. It's a little loud. I should have warned you.
Fuck Antifa! Fuck Antifa! Fuck Antifa! Fuck Antifa! Fuck Antifa! Fuck
What is that? Where is this? Yeah, Antifa. I guess MAGA's coming for you. MAGA's coming for you, Antifa. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I don't know. Was Antifa okay? Maybe they were okay. I hope everyone in the end, they were all just roughhousing. They were just roughhousing. It's a way that dudes show love and respect for each other. They're just roughhousing. That's all it is. That's all it is. So I have a bunch of stories I want to cover with you tonight. Also, whenever you see that I put a feature up there, and then I have plus more news, as I mentioned in the past, and I'll probably mention again in the future. That means that there's a bunch of stories that I have, which I think each of them I'm not going to be spending more than 10 minutes on. In order to make the title, I want to have something that's I'm going to actually be chewing into for an extended period of time. Perhaps the O'Keefe story I could have put in the billing, but I really like the idea of just fixating on this Columbia University thing, because I want to spend a good long while looking at some of these videos. Oh my God. So it starts, like every protest starts, with a bunch of well-meaning college kids. Good night, sweetheart. It starts with a bunch of well-meaning college kids who are only looking to help better the world, make the world a better and happier place, as college kids are. It is when they're coming into the library, and here they come. We mean business. You can tell because we're all wearing masks. We masked up. Let's go. So that's where it starts. That's the start of it all. Then, what else we have here? Before long, it became this.
If you fail to do so, you will be arrested for trespass. We are now asking you one time, please produce your...
Actually, we got the beginning of that.
If you fail to do so, you will be arrested for trespass.
They're demanding that the Columbia University students show ID.
We are now asking you one time, please produce your identification card, and you will be allowed to leave without issue. If you fail to do so, you will be arrested or subject to arrest.
So that didn't sit too well with many of the Columbia University students. The idea that they had to show ID, that did not sit too well. And that led, and that's when all of a sudden the tables got turned on them. Oh my God. They're like, yeah, we're not letting you leave anymore. Wait, we want out now. Now we want out. Let us out. Columbia University students, after taking over the library and then told, no, now you have to stay here until we get your ID. Now they're like, let us flee. And they're like, no, you can't leave. This is the best way to stop protests from happening ever again. Just be like, what? And that's what's happening. That's exactly right. Lady Lawgic nailed it. They're checking visas because they want to deport people. That's right. So now if you go there and you don't have a good visa, or if you're here on a student visa, in theory, your visa can be revoked. You're gonna hurt people, man.
So you're getting people physically out.
So here you go. That's the police right there. They're like, oh, okay, we're getting out now. No, you're not getting out. No. Oh, no. Let us out. Oh, you don't want to leave? Yeah, you can't. I'm sorry. Oh, the place you took over became your prison. That's what happens there. Ah, that became your prison. It became your own crypt. I'm reminded of this Alfred Hitchcock. I don't want to ruin it for you. All right, I will. Sorry. If you missed it, spoiler alert from an episode of Alfred Hitchcock Presents from 30 years ago that some of you, I'm sure, were planning on watching right after the show. So I'm reminded. This is a true story. This is a true story. In the 80s, there was a TV show called Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Okay. Alfred Hitchcock Presents. And there was an episode, which they basically be like a 30-minute show. And during the course of this 30-minute show, there would be some sort of scenario that's unfolding in an Alfred Hitchcockian way. And it would, and then there would be some twist that comes at the end, which was designed to blow your mind. So I'm watching this and I'm like, I think this is the mid 80s. Okay. So there's an episode they had where this vile creature woman, it starts with her being sentenced to life imprisonment. And, it actually starts with her saying, I just want to say that I feel terrible about this entire incident, and I have such deep remorse. And she's crying. She's crying. She feels and if this court can please show me mercy, I swear to the court that I'll be a loyal and upstanding citizen who'll be contributing to society. And the judge says, well, I do not believe your claims of remorse, and accordingly, I'm sending you to life in prison. And slams down the gavel. She slams down the gavel, and the defendant erupts, screaming, "I'll get you, you bitch! No prison will hold me!" She's yelling and cussing at the judge like a completely unhinged Columbia University student. So now, then they show her in prison, and she gets assigned to this detail where she is working with the undertaker of the prison cell, of the prison system, or whatever that she's in. And she sees, and she's working with this old man who's an undertaker, and she would help them prepare the body, and she would I don't know, work with him in their morgue, and then they would, prepare whoever died in the prison. They would take the body out and bury the prisoner. Well, one day she's working with this kindly old black man, and he's reading a letter and he's crying, and she's like, "What's wrong? What's bothering you?" So he goes, "I've been working in this prison for the last 45 years, and I just wanted to be able to go get a sabbatical so I can take a vacation and see my grandkids for the first time in the last 15 years. And they're not letting me go, and I don't have the money to be able to afford to go." And he's crying and crying and crying. So she says to him, "I have money. I have lots of money. And if you help me out, I'll cover all your costs of your trip." And they hatch a plan. And the plan is that the cemetery is outside of the prison. So she says the next time that someone dies, they sound the bells. They sound the bell tolling the death of the prisoner. I'll come in here at night. I'll get into the casket, and then you'll come back. They'll come out that night, and the next day when they get buried, they'll carry me outside. They'll dig me up, and you'll get me out of here, and I'll give you your money that you need. Very reluctantly, feeling he has no choice, the poor old black man agrees to the plan. Sure enough, a couple days later, she hears the bell tolling. Dong, 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 dong. So she feigns illness, heads off to the mortuary, and climbs into the casket. They cut to the funeral, all the people standing around over it, crying over the loss of the departed. And she's in the casket there with the dead body. It's pitch black in there. And she's laying there, and she's all, she's starting to get freaked out. Like, she's like talking to herself, saying, like, I told that judge that no prison's going to hold me. And she's laughing maniacally, like a crazy person. And she's like, I can't wait I can't wait to see the judge's face when she learns that I got out of this stupid prison. I'll show that. And cursing, disgusting. And she starts freaking out. And she's like, what's taking so long? I can't believe this. Why is it taking so long? And then she's like, I'm curious, who is this stupid dead loser next to me? And she pulls out a lighter and she flicks it open. And she sees laying next to her is a kindly old black man who never got to see his grandchildren. And it ends with her like basically screaming. She's pounding on this coffin, which is 6 feet, and then it pans back above the earth, and you see that she's buried way under earth, and no one knows that she's there. I wrote this up with a lot of detail, similar to the way I just told it over. What was funny is that because I had to create a story for English for one of my English classes, which was supposed to be an original story with a creative twist at the end. I wrote it up, and the English professor, the next week, he goes, I want to read to you last week I had you guys submit a creative story with a surprising twist end. And he and the next thing I know, he starts reading my story. Flowery language and everything like that. Goes through, I've got into 3 pages or so. He's reading it. He goes, now I want to read you another story. And the way the other story was written, the other student says, so this woman's trying to get out of prison, and she's not happy about the situation. So she offers money to and basically the same story, but really poorly, like really much more succinct, not nearly as well taken. So he goes, obviously, this is the same story, and the second writer here plagiarized from the first writer. So that's why the first writer here gets an A, and this one gets an F. I was like, thank God that guy doesn't watch Alfred Hitchcock Presents. But the reason I thought of that is because over here we have the exact same thing with the students, where your very own salvation becomes your crypt. That's what I thought when I was watching this. The very place you decide we're holding up and we ain't leaving, you ain't leaving. These are the cops. Where are the cops? These are the cops! I don't know if it's the cops or security. It's probably security. It's a private institution. Now we have, every once in a while, you have someone who takes charge in an emergency situation and lets their voice be known. In case you haven't realized it yet, it's blue shirt guy over here who's going to be that man. Apparently someone went down. I'll bet you anything they're faking. Oh, there's a sergeant. Public safety sergeant. You know that she was born to handle this moment.
What are you doing now? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that?
This is the guy who's afraid of going back to Somalia or Yemen, who fainted. They think their phone is a weapon. That's what they think. Like, oh, we got you now.
Make room.
Not happy.
You guys are all fucking kids.
You're all fascists. You're all fascists. Oh my God. Sad day in Memphis today. 3 guilty cops were found not guilty by an all-white jury. R.I.P. Tyree Nichols. I didn't know about that. Thank you for sharing that with me, Kimmy Joe. I don't know enough about the story to weigh in with any sort of, to add any clarity on it. They're not letting them go. We're on the inside of the library, the angle we're on here. It takes a minute to adjust. This is from inside the library. These are the knuckleheads themselves who are filming. That guy must have shown ID.
We don't have numbers. Let's regroup, guys.
Let's regroup. Well, that's a good plan. Oh, there's so many more videos of this. So many more. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I haven't been able to screen them all, but we're going to start going through some of them because I thought this story is hilarious. Oh, is that outside? Am I mistaken? It says exit, not enter. They're inside. Those are all inside. That's the library. They took over. I don't know. This is when they first got in there. That's what we just saw. There's more. As of today, I will never hire any Columbia graduate from the class of 2026 onward. I hope leaders in the business world adopt this policy. The only reform is to bankrupt it, blacklisted students, and cast it into irrelevance. It is of no value to our great country. Yeah, that's the way it should be. And some of you might be asking a question. Don't you have a right to peacefully protest? Yes, but you can't peacefully protest wherever the heck you feel like. That's not peacefully protesting, even if you're not destroying things. There's the Supreme Court has dictated that there's a right to manner and place designations. You can't just go wherever the heck you want to. This is so whiny. And it's an interesting thing, because if you're a white guy at one of these things, or a white girl, you're sort of like, wait, so if I show my ID, I'm sort of betraying the cause and leaving behind all the folks who aren't willing to show their ID. So they're sort of stuck there, right? I mean, the only reason they're doing this, a lot of them, is because it's politically expedient for their own popularity. When I say politically in this context, what I mean is that for their own social status, they're like, oh, I'm one of the Free Palestine people. Love me. I'm one of the good guys. I'm an ally. Well, if as soon as the cops show, you're like, yeah, okay, I'm not one of those illegals over here. So let me go, please. Can I go, please? You're not really displaying very much allyship, and you're kind of betraying the entire cause. So you're sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Do you want to like be stuck there with them indefinitely, or do you want to like you sort of trap yourself into that situation? It's coming to an end soon. This is why I can celebrate this. I think it's coming to an end soon. You want to know why I think it's coming to an end soon? I'll tell you why I think it's coming to an end soon. Because some of you may have missed this. But the reason I think it's coming to an end soon is because of stuff like this. This is why it's coming to an end soon. When I first saw this, I thought it was in New York City, but the streets are too wide, and then I see palm trees in the background there, and we don't have red curbs. So I don't know where this is, maybe LA. We need to watch this stuff so we can document when we're covering this. We need to document just how insane the left can be. I mean, we need to remember always, so that you can warn your children and they can warn their children, that this is leftism, this is loony leftism unchecked. Yep. This is the lunacy. Oh, look at this. Big surprise. Big surprise. And of course, there's always some brand of vandalism just to make sure, in case you think that there's something wrong with what the police are doing, they make sure, like, no, we're definitely going to be doing lots of illegal stuff here. You know what Columbia University needs to do? What Columbia University needs to do is they need to say, yeah, there's no protesting en masse. You can either protest or you can wear a mask, but you can't be doing both. You can't be part of a protest while wearing masks. That's another way to do it. Like, you know, I'm all for the notion of people being out to protest, but have the cojones to show your face. Have the cojones to show your face. But you believe in it so strongly, let everyone know how you feel. You have a right to protest. All right, protest while wearing a mask. It's that simple. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Arrested by NYPD. Oh, no. Oh, no. No, 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 no. No. It's true. Kafia is today's equivalent of brown shirts. Stupid time. And now you guys can't leave. What movie was that? That does sound familiar. I don't know. You stumped me. Do I have to check it up? Yeah, it does ring a bell. A Bronx Tale? Bella Stella gift in 20. Let's see who she brought into the following. Let's see who we got. Come on, big names, big names, big names, big names. Following 20 people were brought into the following, courtesy of Queen of Recruitment, Bella Stella. God bless you, Bella. All hail Bella. All hail Bella. Thank you so much. And in case you're wondering, when I call your name, that's a sign that you have just been gifted membership in probably the most exclusive club you've ever been associated with. It's a club that's it's not at all a cult type of cult, and I'm not the leader of the following, but even so, as a longtime member and as the host of the following, I urge everyone, when I call your names, to please, please, please express your gratitude, Bella Stella, for gifting you with membership in the following, which is just about greater personal growth. Those people include XZ, Access Humboldt Unincorporated, Dirt Cheap, Dennis B, Relaxed Sweater 2458, Alina, Newfie Princess, Half Irish, the JTW, and the debate show, Let's Try to Talk. All right. Arm Bears, Al D'Alessandro. AI D'Alessandro? Linz. No, not Linz. Linz was talking. Sorry, Linz. No win for you today. Whoops, my bad. Linz has been here for a long time. She's got the big truck. Petty Eddie. Chris Goss, Penny, and Clifford Barnes, as well as Allie Richardson, Leaf on the win, Lynn Hohenstein. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say it's Lynn Hohenstein. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Look at that. Gifted courtesy of Bella Stella, as well as Calbo Dave. Welcome to the following. Please make sure that you express your gratitude to the awesome Bella Stella, and thank you so much. Very much appreciate it. Wellesley, I know I haven't gotten back to you yet. He actually hit me up. Deport Columbia University back to Columbia. That would be great. That would be great. Oh my gosh. I had so much fun finding it, just looking at some of these clips. So you might ask, how did they get in there? Well, Mayor Eric Adams said at the written request of Columbia University, the NYPD is entering the campus to remove individuals who are trespassing. We will not tolerate hate or violence in any form in our city. Read my full statement on today's events at Columbia. As I've said repeatedly, New York City will always defend the right to peaceful protest, but we will never tolerate lawlessness to our Jewish New Yorkers, especially the students at Columbia who feel threatened or unsafe attending class because of these events. Know that your mayor stands with you and will always work to keep you safe. To parents of students protesting, call your children. Make clear that breaking the law is wrong and they should exit the building immediately. To those protesting on campus who do not attend Columbia, exit the campus immediately or you will be arrested. We will not tolerate hate or violence in any form in our city. And it's really unfair to the students who have no interest in partaking in this. They want to study in a library, and next thing you know, you have 1,000 idiots in keffiyehs just coming on in there, banging. I mean, understand that this is finals time, right? I mean, this is finals time. This is when they're all studying for finals, and the library is taken over by a bunch of agenda-driven idiots. So, where's their freedom? They pay for this. This is what they do. It's all a party to the police show. It's all a big party till the police show up. They're all so proud of themselves and yet refusing to show their faces. If you're so proud of yourselves, why don't you take off your stupid masks? Why, if you're so proud of it? So there you go. Gregory Katzer, this was hysterical. Assuming the name uses the German pronunciation, remember this. When E and I go together, it's the second letter that does the talking. What? When E and I go together, it's the second letter that does the talking. So I've actually talked about this before. Because when W-E-I-G-H is an A sound. So you're saying German pronunciation. I have I-E, and it's pronounced E, like Nearman. I don't know. So I guess you're saying the I comes second, so it's E. So, you're saying that I was right in my Houndstein, which is E-I-N, that's the I, not the E that does the talking. It's Stein. Weinstein. Wait, no, I said it's Weinstein, not Weinstein. Yeah, okay. So this is what I'll tell you. You want to tell me about German pronunciation? I don't know how that works with the word way. I guess that's not a German word. So perhaps you're saying it's not German pronunciation. I'm simply saying this, okay? Anyone who has an E-I-N at the end of their name, it was once pronounced E. Now, they might decide to change it. Like it was Jeffrey Epstein, not Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein's parents said Epstein. His grandparents said Epstein. And Weinstein's parents said Weinstein. They all said Steen. All of them. But then it became something like, oh, it's more American to pronounce it as Ein. So that's what happened. But I'll tell you that their father, the grandfather, the great-grandfather all pronounced it as Een. So I can't tell you as far as I've never studied German, so I can't tell you as far as proper German pronunciation, and I would respectfully submit that one of the things I learned from watching a phenomenal movie that some of you may have heard of called Inglourious Basterds, where there's a scene down in a bar that ends up being a big shootout, one of the things I learned and took away from that scene is that depending on what part of Germany someone is from, they have different accents in how they speak German, which is logical. The same way in America, you can tell someone comes from New York versus Boston. If you're from the Northeast, I think if you're from the Midwest, we all sound the same. But versus someone who sounds like they're from California or from Texas or the Northern Midwest. We all can tell those distinctions. So too in German, and that could be a difference between the ihn and the ein. I don't know. I'm purely speculating, only because I learned, and I wanted to point out that what I learned from Inglourious Basterds is that there are different accents depending on the part of Germany you're from. In German, IE is E. EI is I. Way is French, maybe? I don't know. Easy to remember this. Come and see here. Hair. Come and see hair. And here C is the S is the E. Oh, so it's higher. Come and see here. Come and see here. That's what it is. Which means come here in German. This is I did not expect to be getting German lessons today. God, you're wrong. Yiddish follows the German. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I understand that. So that's what I'm saying. The only reason I understand it's come and see here is because of the little Yiddish that I know. I myself never spoke a lick of Yiddish before I got married, and I was quickly introduced to it because I married a girl, phenomenal girl from Brooklyn. And in Brooklyn, they have far more familiarity with Yiddish than where I grew up in Queens. All right. So I personally found that story to be awesome. And I plan on bringing to you many more awesome stories. One story I want to share with you is this. One story I want to share with you is Trump weighing in today about Thom Tillis. As we covered last night, Thom Tillis is a senator from North Carolina who is not supporting Ed Martin's nomination to be the U.S. attorney from Washington, D.C. He is currently the interim U.S. attorney, but he needs to be confirmed by the Senate within 120 days of January 20th, which is fast approaching. That deadline is less than 2 weeks away. So he needs to be confirmed, and there's only 53 GOP senators, and you know that no one from the Democrats can be supporting him. And one of the people who has bailed on him is Thom Tillis. Here is Donald Trump weighing in on that.
Senator Tillis has come out against Ed Martin as U.S. attorney. Do you have any response to that?
Well, it's disappointing because, I know Eddie's very talented. Crime is down in Washington, D.C. Street crime, violent crime by 25%. And people have seen, they've noticed a big difference. So I didn't know that. But if anybody voted against him, I feel very badly about it, only in the sense that in this short period of time that he's been there, crime is down 25% in Washington, D.C. But that's really up to the senator.
Which I'm not going to kid you is a little bit too mild for my tastes. I wish he would have come out far more aggressively against Thom Tillis. It's just calling it disappointing. If someone threatens, Thomas Massey threatens threatens to withhold in voting to give him money, he starts screaming to primary him. This guy, Thom Tillis, has a history of being a pretty terrible senator, and now he's potentially standing in the way of Trump's agenda in arguably the most important district in the country because of all the different issues that need to be prosecuted in D.C. And Trump expresses disappointment, but no talk of primarying this guy. Now, I will share with you that Jim Satala shared with me a link to something, and I actually plan on working and bringing Jim on here for his show. He was the first person to answer the call. You guys know Jim. You've seen him in the chat there. He was the first person to answer the call for my call for a producer. I've actually had a few others out there who have volunteered who I haven't responded to yet. I expect to respond to them shortly. I've been very run down by the Karen Reed trial, where I just feel as if I spend all my time working. I'm used to just sort of chilling for a couple hours a day, and I don't get to do that. Today I actually collapsed and fell asleep. But we're talking about time. So he shared with me this. So Jim shared this with me, and I'm going to sort of jump the gun on him a little bit and bring it to you, because I had all sorts of questions about what we're about to see here. I think it's important that when we're scrutinizing someone and saying how good or terrible they are, that we're accurate. And the first thing I thought when I saw this is, this doesn't read nearly as terrible as the headline shares. Whenever I see a name like this, crowdsource the truth or something like that, I am skeptical. I'm like, I don't know what this, you don't want to give me your name. You want some sort of cool name. I get that. I embrace good logic, but I'm willing to tell people my name. Everyone knows who I am, right? So at the end of the day, I can use good logic as much as I want. Everyone knows that's Joe Neerman. So when something is coming to me on social media from someone who is, no one knows their name, I'm more cynical. That doesn't mean I'm going to dismiss it, but I'm just like, all right, let me see what you're talking about here. Building a real estate empire one undisclosed deed at a time, Senator Thom Tillis, a senior Republican from North Carolina and sitting member of powerful Senate committees on banking, finance, and the judiciary, has quietly built a network of real estate transactions that suggest a serious pattern of non-disclosure, potentially fraudulent conveyances, and possible tax evasion, crossing well beyond the boundaries of legal tax avoidance. I was like, oh yeah, that's some serious claims. I'm particularly wary when suddenly this comes out on someone who is not popular. When all of a sudden the diggers come and they throw out vague claims about someone, I'm very wary. I'm like, I think this is feeding into what people think I want to believe about Thom Tillis. So let's look a little further. The report presents damning evidence of the following: verifiable property records linking Tillis to concealed assets. I don't know what that means. Multiple examples of $0 property transfers between corporate and personal interests. That happens, I think, a lot. A lot of times people will transfer property that they own personally to a corporation that's a holding company, and it's a way of insulating that property. I think most real estate developers do something like that. So this, when I saw this, right away, my red flags started flaring up that I'm like, this sounds like someone who's trying to make Thom Tillis sound shady and guilty for doing something that everyone does and misleading the public for getting clicks. That's what it felt like to me. And when I see 8,000 clicks, I'm like, that's a lot of clicks. 8,000 hearts, that's a lot of clicks. And I was just like, I don't know that I think that this is necessarily anything remotely shaded. Admitted financial disclosure in violation of Ethics and Government Act. All right, well, let's tell me what I need to know more. These are just, and trouble legally framework. These are all just vague, conclusory statements without me knowing what did he do that qualifies as omitting financial disclosures. What did he do that is troubling about his legal framework and potentially criminal? This is not speculation. So far, it's very speculative. Documents exist and were filed on state and federally controlled websites by the senator himself or a legal representative acting on his behalf. That doesn't mean it's not speculative, because you're saying that something nefarious when it could be just something that everyone, literally everyone does. Anyone who's in the real estate industry. These transactions are real? Probably. Senator Tillis' omissions are provable and virtually impossible to explain if not deliberate. So I don't know anything about the omissions yet. Let's see what they have to say. All right. The shell game, how Tillis engaged in self-dealing with a shady corporate entity. A shell company is not, this is one of the things that people love to do. And again, Thom Tillis, I'm not standing up for Thom Tillis. Dude might be complete slime. He could be corrupt as hell. I don't know. I'm simply saying that this thread here, so far, and this is about as far as I've gotten through it, there's more to it. This to this long post. I haven't even looked through it. I'm looking through it with you so I can try to just assess as we're going through it here. And maybe by the time we finish, I'll be like, oh, okay, that does sound pretty shady. Or it really can be, but I'm trying to glean out what I know and have seen from the industry, my limited exposure to the real estate industry. And just seeing people deal in business, what I've seen as being customary and normal versus what is shady. And I get very bothered when people take something that's customary and normal and saying, because this person who we don't like is doing it, they are therefore showing their corruption. And aha, we got you on your corruption. To me, that is not helpful to the discourse. It is actually very harmful because you're making people who I align with politically, you're making them stupider. You're making them more disinformed. You're turning them into idiots where you're feeding into the Dunning-Kruger where they're like, you see, I know, I read this whole thread about how shady he is, and nothing in here potentially displays actual shadiness. So that's why I sort of feel like it's incumbent upon me to try and just glean out, parse out, is there something shady here or not? All right. A lot of people have shell corporations. There's nothing illicit, illegal, or even shady about having a shell corporation. The purpose of having a shell corporation often is that you want to try and insulate it, that if you get hit with a lawsuit, for something that you do wrong in company A, it doesn't destroy your entire life, where you can't operate any business anymore. You get some wacky judgment against you because of some mistake or even intentional wrongdoing that you do in a particular place. You don't want it to attach and destroy your other businesses. Imagine if Elon were to do something with his on X that opens him up to civil penalties of $1 billion, and X gets hit with the judgment of $1 billion. Let's assume in this example that X is not a publicly traded company. And then the next thing you know, they start going after the assets of SpaceX. That could destroy SpaceX or PayPal, whatever it is. It could be destroying his other companies. So it makes sense why you would take a property. So the reason you would be concerned about this with a property normally is because you'd say, what happens if someone trips and falls on the property? And then there's a lawsuit. The owners of the property are the ones who end up getting held liable. Well, that's why you end up putting it into a shell corporation. Often, the shell corporation will have a name like 123 Main Street, LLC. You put down the address of the property, and that becomes the shell company that is holding onto the property. And you do that for reason, basically to help insulate so you don't go bankrupt in case some stranger wanders onto the property and drowns in the pool. So it doesn't destroy your entire life. This is all practices that everyone in real estate who holds on to real estate as for investment purposes, they all do that. Only complete neophytes do not do that. So when you talk about undisclosed property transfers here, TRT Holdings transfers Rama Church Road Trailer Park, 5508 Enslow Place, is Rama Trailer Park. These are the transfers. 2007, TRT Holdings acquires Rama Church Road Trailer Park. Transfers the place, I think it means $40 in 2008. Enslow Place is sold for $55,000, no disclosure. Okay. Rama Trailer Park quietly transferred again. What do you mean quietly? What is loudly transfer versus quietly transfer? This time to Wise Property Management, no disclosure. Annual disclosures filed, omissions continue. Whose omissions? 2014 property still concealed in records. I don't even know what the heck they're talking about here. This is owned by Susan Tillis, who I assume is Thom Tillis' wife. Nothing here. This could be shady. It could be completely normal. I'm not saying that there's nothing shady in this deal. What I'm saying is there's nothing in this here that screams shady to me in particular, because this sort of transferring thing happens all the time, thousands of times a day across the country. From 2007 to 2016, Tillis operated a private real estate entity known as TRT Holdings, which makes sense. TRT is probably his initials. Public records show that TRT Holdings acquired and transferred property across North Carolina frequently for $0 and often no trace until Tillis' required financial disclosures. Which required financial disclosures? Now you're talking about his personal financial. Which of his financial disclosures are required? That's what I'm wondering. And there could be statutes that say he has to make financial disclosures for things that he owns, like for a company that he owns. So you own company A. So when there's transfers happening with that, if you're a majority owner or a sole owner, depending on the nature of the statutes, there might be obligations on him to report, and he may have failed to meet those obligations. I don't know, but you need to tell me what those disclosure requirements are and what your source is that those disclosures are mandatory the way you're claiming. Otherwise, this is just, it's likely hogwash. In 2008, TRT Holdings transferred the residential property to Tillis via $0 quitclaim deed. So this sounds like TRT bought it and gave it to Tillis for nothing. Tillis sold the home for $55,000. None of this appears in 2013 Senate financial disclosure forms. That's not what he wrote here. Maybe that's this 2008. Maybe. Okay. If he made $55,000 on the sale, then he has to report that. It doesn't appear in his 2013 Senate financial disclosure forms. Then you wouldn't need to have you don't need to go through the whole transfer, TRT Holdings purchase. You can just say in 2013 he sold a home for $55,000 and didn't disclose it. Well, the fact that it came to him for nothing, whatever it is, you don't say any of that. You can just say he had to disclose that and he didn't. This is what makes me feel as if they're trying to malign him and besmirch him with something that they think that they have a scoop. The reason I'm skeptical here is because everyone wants to get the scoop so they can become significant and important. So if I'm giving you something terrible about someone who's currently rather unpopular, everyone's gonna be like, oh yeah, give me more, give me more, give me more. That's the clickbait. So they want to give you the clickbait for the purpose of basically saying, come on over, where I'm going to give you more and more breaking, brand new information that you need to have and want to have. But this is not giving you information that you need to have and want to have. This is what I find so frustrating. This is not anything. Because this doesn't tell me, it sounds like you're trying to dress it up with this whole transfer thing. That transfer thing is not related to what you're citing as being the ultimate wrong. The ultimate wrong being he sold property for $55,000, and you're claiming he had to state it on his Senate financial disclosure forms, and he did not. Why are you showing me all of this unless you're trying to make it seem as if you've uncovered this whole sordid thing, which doesn't sound to me to be legally sordid whatsoever? Although I will say it is weird to transfer something from your personal assets from a piece of real property from your holding company to your personal company. That's an unusual direction for it to go. Example 2, 11826 Rama Church Road, trailer park traded like a shell. So TRT Holdings purchased a 10-lot mobile home park on Church Road for $79,000. In 2011, Susan Tillis, acting as a member of TRT Holdings, executed deed transferring property to Shady Grove Estates LLC, another Tillis-linked entity. That's also not at all uncommon. The deed was recorded with Mecklenburg County. They say it's recorded to let you know that, like, hey, we have the goods on him. The deed was recorded with Mecklenburg County, and excise taxes suggest a declared value of $250,000. That's a really nice growth right there. That's really nice growth. Especially during the housing crisis. You buy something in 2007 and flip it in 2011. Housing crisis happens in 2008. That's a remarkable growth. To me, that's the funkiest part of this whole thing. Yet in 2016, TRT Holdings, the entity that supposedly relinquished the property 5 years early, again conveyed the same property to Wise Property Management, LLC, also to associate, this time for $750,000. Okay, this sounds weird. This is difficult to understand. Assuming the facts here are accurate, this does sound shady. Assuming that the facts on this Church Road property are legitimate, to me, this sounds difficult to understand what the hell is happening here. You obviously can't transfer the same property twice. What the heck is going on? I wants to know. How could TRT Holdings sell the same property twice 5 years apart unless it was transferred back to them at some point, which is possible? Was the 2011 deed never properly transferred despite being filed, or was the 2016 deed fraudulent, or was another intervening deed where it went back to TRT Holdings? Was the value intentionally suppressed in 2011 and inflated in 2016 for tax manipulation or disclosure evasion? How did they buy it for $79,000? You're wondering how it went from $250 to $750. I don't wonder about that. That's when property values were going up considerably. I wonder how it went from $79,000 to $250 during a housing collapse. That's what I want to know too. If you just know historically, maybe in North Carolina, there wasn't this housing collapse. I assume this is all North Carolina, but I thought that was pretty nationwide. And this is where they come at you with, like, you see, we got to the smoking gun that we start with an if. If either deed was falsified, backdated, knowingly misfiled, that would constitute fraudulent conveyance, false representation to county, tax evasion. I'm struggling here. I feel as if I don't know what this is. And I will admit to you that this part here to me sounds weird. 79,000 to 250, and it sounds weird. But we're very far from illegal. And then we're going to put all this together into one. I just gave you two timelines. Now the evolution of a schema timeline. Now we're going to call this something that we exposed, some new information, which is the same information, just mixing together the timelines of the different properties. Stuff like this gets me very annoyed. It gets me very annoyed because I feel as if they're trying to lead me into, like, jumping on and saying, "Aha, we got you, Thom Tillis," where they literally have a smoke machine of their own rather than the being smoke coming from the actions. While at the same time, I admit that part there about transferring the same property twice, that sounds as if maybe we're missing a record here as to when it got back. It's not a very clever scheme to be selling the same property to two of your own entities. That seems like a very poorly. I would hope a senator who's looking to scheme and steal money would do it in a far less stupid kind of way than selling the same property to himself twice. But then we met Tish James, so I don't know. Some people are queen of stupid. I'm simply saying the reason I want to share that with you is to point out to you, you have to be careful before jumping to conclusions, particularly when those conclusions about people, and those conclusions are about people that you're hoping to find those conclusions, because that's how you end up becoming someone who sounds like they have Dunning-Kruger, like you think you know, but you don't. And they're playing on the fact that you feel emotionally about a certain way, and then they want to get you to short circuit critical analysis and just jump in and saying, "You see, I knew Thom Tillis is corrupt, classic neocon, corrupt, self-interest, cheating neocon." That's what the agenda is, rather than actually thinking through the claims that are being presented to you. So you think you're smarter when you're actually dumber as a result of reading it. Now, what I got from it is there is a weird looking double, assuming that the records are accurate, there's a weird looking double transfer, which They don't really give me enough detail. I would love to see the documents that you say definitely exist and were definitely filed. If they definitely exist, definitely filed, why don't you give me a copy of that so I can look at it? Provide your sources. Whenever it comes, we don't like when we get anonymous sources, so provide your sources. And then I'll be happily to be screaming about how Thom Tillis is corrupt. Let's throw him in jail. Let's prosecute him. So, but you have to be very careful before just jumping in on something that you naturally are inclined to jump in on, because it's in those scenarios, seemingly more often than not, you're being gaslit. That's just the sad state of our world today. He's my senator. I know him personally. He's been so bad for our state that the North Carolina Republican Party censured him. He has worked against Trump often. Kathy, I think what you're saying there is likely true. I want to, in fact, I'll even go one step further. Okay. I didn't save this one thing that I saw today, but I saw I should be able to find it in 2 seconds. I did. 14 hours ago, this is what Insurrection Barbie shared out. See, this is a type of timeline. I'm like, okay, this I can, not claims of illegality, but just, here's just to introduce you to who Thom Tillis is. Insurrection Barbie says, let's review Thom Tillis. February 2019, Tillis wrote a Washington Post op-ed opposing Trump's declaration of a national emergency to fund the border wall. So in 2019, he's like, we have a national emergency. We have to fund the border wall. Thom Tillis says, no. Now we have 15 million illegal aliens here. Great. Arguing he violated the Constitution's separation of powers, he caved after pressure from his North Carolina voters. Tillis co-sponsored a bipartisan bill in 2018 to protect special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election. He tried to tank the Hegseth nomination when he worked behind the scenes to oppose the nomination, encouraged Hegseth's ex-sister-in-law to provide a sworn statement alleging alcohol abuse and spousal mistreatment, hoping to sway other GOP senators. That's who this guy is. Tillis delivered a fiery Senate speech condemning Vladimir Putin as a liar, murderer, and the greatest threat to democracy in my lifetime, implicitly rebuking Trump's take on the conflict and stated he would not support Trump's national security nominees who didn't back Ukraine. I mean, this guy has got to go. So this sort of thing gets me much more riled up than when I'm seeing this. We got the goods on his shady transfers. During Trump's first impeachment in 2020, Tillis voted to acquit, arguing the House case was weak, but he ran campaign ads emphasizing his opposition to removal, distancing himself from Trump's legal peril. He also supported the bipartisan Safer Communities Act. See, this is an honest statement. Look, he didn't vote to convict him. He voted to acquit Trump, let Trump off. But then, instead of saying, because he agrees with Trump and or anything of that nature, it's like, I just didn't think it was right to remove. Don't hold it against me. He also supported the bipartisan Safer Communities Act, providing funds for red laws. Now he's standing in the way of confirming Ed Martin. See, that's a nice list, which can just let me say, okay, this is a guy we need to get rid of. He's standing in the way. He's standing in the way. I could totally get behind something like this. My married name is German Bierman. Yeah, see, you pronounce it like me. You're Biermann. And yeah. The other thing is this. The double N is a German name rather than a Jewish name. That's just reality. Double N implies German. Jason Goodman is CSTT, former protege of George Webb. His name is on his Twitch account. He always writes gotcha pieces like this, a la G Webb. Okay. Well, there you go. I did not know that. I did not know that. No one told me that. Well, at least we know his name. Crowdsource Jason Goodman, an internet OG, third director and journalist. Worth checking out. He does joint ventures with good guests and partners too. Okay. Appreciate the recommendation. Quick claim deed. It's actually a quit claim deed. Everyone thinks it's quick, but it's quit. Quick claim deed does not mean any money moved hands, just property ownership. Property record ownership can look dirty if you don't know the underlying. Yep. Yep. And yep. I work in real estate with Susan. That's how I know them. I just read the piece and will investigate further and get more info. That area of values did blow up. Oh, so there you go. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Look at this. We got a source. I got a source. Kathy. Awesome. That's beautiful. We got a source. I'd like to, I would love your assessment. I'd love your assessment. No. When you told me Jason Goodman, just for clarity's sake, when you told me Jason Goodman, I remember him from the Chris Boozy period. And I think it was around that time when there was that whole thing brewing with Nate. And I'll tell you this, I don't think that my experience with Jason Goodman has not been completely positive. So, not that I interacted with him directly, but some of the things I've seen, I'm just like, I don't follow the thinking as linearly. I don't see it being as linear as he does, where I just see, to me, I feel like there's a jump here, which is a very serious jump without any time to run up and make that jump, or proper time to run up and make that jump. So that's why when you told me Jason Goodman, I was like, oh, okay. I'm not trying to knock Jason Goodman at all. I want to be clear on that. I'm not knocking him, and I'm purely expressing an opinion. So, yeah, my opinion is that I understand the story a lot better now. Let's move onward. I didn't check that out. Make sure. Let me do a ghetto check. Luzon says, this is what happened the other night at the University of Washington. Oh, thank you for sharing this. I'd forgotten about this. This is something else that Jim called my attention. This is what Ozelian shared with us. Happening now, University of Washington has literally turned into a dumpster fire. School leaders are allowing Antifa and pro-Hamas activists to dictate the terms taxpayer dollars down the drain at this public school. It's like this. Program. That way people know. Is this from the following program? Is this in court? Circle, rectangle. Newly embraced. There you go. There you go. There's our public school system. Very productive. Fiery, but mostly peaceful. This I actually would call fiery, but mostly peaceful so far from what we've seen. All right. Yeah. At least no one's ripping apart. I mean, setting something on fire. It looks like a relatively controlled fire. Relatively controlled fire. Tillis is a primary opponent now. Don Brown, but not certain how strong. Trump endorsed Tillis and was shocked when Tillis was booed off the campaign stage in Wilmington in 2020, but still got elected. He needs to be primaried. That's what needs to happen. It's got to be in the primaries. Can't lose seats in the Senate. It's got to be there. It has to be there. The line must be drawn here. Johnny Reb saying, Joe, I posted some critical info and locals from the phone data of John O'Keefe and Karen Reed. This is what he shared with me. I'm going to sidestep here because he did share with me. And we like the locals people. So we're just going to pause for a second here. Timeline. John takes 36 steps, reads text message, and hits lock button 12:32:17. I think it was at 19, 12:32:19. After driving through the snow, 6-minute trip on a good day, Karen Reed's phone arrives at John's house and connects to his Wi-Fi at 12:36. 4.4 minutes later. Oh, so you're saying that when he's walking around there, Karen Reed could not have been there. This is the sort of forensic evidence we like. She connects to his Wi-Fi. Now, she may not have to be in the house to connect to the Wi-Fi. It may be that if she's close enough. But it's difficult to shave off 2 minutes, 1/3 of your trip in a 6-minute drive, especially in snow. Connecting at 12:36:32 would give her less than 4 minutes to. That's a really good catch. That's the sort of thing I really like. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything else. In the ghetto. Why don't I see you? Why don't I see you? Where are you? Here's the ghetto. That's a really good catch. Oh, I missed this. Breck Nichols, let my people go! Or not. That's funny, Breck. That makes me smile. Wi-Fi range 100 feet or so. All right. We will be following the Karen Reed trial tomorrow and Friday. Sticking with it. That's the plan. Tomorrow and Friday. Where was we? Oh, yeah. I wanted to share with you all updates on the Maryland man, Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Maryland man, Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Libs of TikTok sharing out. Libs of TikTok. Wait, let me get this that way. Karen Reed trial chat was fired today. Everyone not watching coverage missed comedy gold. Yeah, when the forensic digitologist, not a phlebotomist, but perhaps could be, came out today, she she inspired a great deal of comments that had me dying of laughter. Yeah, that was Ms. Hyde, Jessica Hyde, who testified today, and I could not stop crying. I was the chat was amazing. You know, you want to jump to Diddy as that is trial of the century. There's okay. Amber Heard was trial of the century. Let's not get crazy. It's not trial of the century, and it cannot be trial of the century because no one's going to see it. But likely trial of the year. That I'll give you. It's likely trial of the year. So it's not trial of the century because no one's going to see it. So no one's going to know. The only people when people are going to know anything about it is what I tell them. Yes, Nate, the lawyer, the patriot from Maryland to El Salvador. Yes. Nate wants to know about the Maryland man. The Maryland man. Oh, yeah. Well, there's this video I wanted to share with you and forgot to share with you. I need to share with you a quick video, a 1.5 minute video that I know Nate is going to make a video. He'll make his own video on this, and God bless this dude. He'll have 4 million views in like 3 hours. So yeah, here's your Maryland man here. I'll share the links with you if you want, Nate. Make it easier for you. I'll share this with you. Hold on a second. Let me just make sure. Since we're talking Karen Reed, you may have covered this, but did you see DUI guy's video on the slip up by Jemmy Cabe's daughter in the first trial? No, I did not. I don't know anything about Jemmy Cabe's daughter yet. Who knows? I'm sure this story gets more sorted. So I want to share this video with you because you all remember Maryland man Kilmer Abrego Garcia. And here he was on November 30th, 2022. Look at this video here.
How dark are your windows? Huh? How dark's the back windows?
How dark are your
windows?
Your windows are very dark.
Stand by. How dark are they?
The color.
Yeah.
From Texas is good.
You're from Maryland. You're the Maryland man, Kilmar. You're the Maryland man.
How many rows have you got in here? 4?
How many rows for people?
Seats? 4 rows of seats?
Yeah, three seats. Yeah, we hit. Yeah.
Did y'all put an extra one in?
Huh?
Did y'all put another one in?
No.
Did it come like this?
Is the truck.
I've never seen one with that many seats in it.
You hear me? What you say? It's my boss.
I said I've never seen one with that many seats.
Oh,
in
really?
It. Yeah.
Oh, everyone's
That's why
got
I was asking if you could put an extra one in.
No, it's the same. Like this.
Okay.
You know what you got, right?
Huh?
You know what you got here, right?
No.
He's hauling these people for money, is what he's doing. But sometimes they commingle dope.
No, but
He,
squad at the back.
there's 8 people in there.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know that. They put an extra.
Yeah. 8 people, no luggage. 8 people, no luggage. We'll travel light. 8 people. Hauling them at 11:30 at night on interstates. Yeah. Little thing pop up on me here. All right, so yeah, that was what and then it got reported out. So there he looks kind of shady. The Libs TikTok reported this out today. Breaking. The convicted human trafficker who owned the van driven by deported MS-13 gang member Kilmer Abrego Garcia has reportedly told DOJ officials that he paid Garcia to transport, that's right, paid him to transport illegal aliens from Texas across the country. This is the Maryland man that Democrats have been fighting for. So now we don't simply have what looks like human trafficking. No. Now we have the owner of the car admitting that he did pay Kilmar Abrego Garcia to transfer these folks across the country. Not looking good. Not looking good for Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Just saying. Just saying. Maybe he'll be brought back here and then put in a prison here after a trial. I don't know. That could happen. I don't know. Maybe he'll be asking to be staying in El Salvador soon. I don't know. I don't want to go back there. I don't want to go back to that place. Maybe. I don't know. Although, frankly, I'm not going to kid you. CCOT looks like it's very possible that any American prison looks like Club Fed compared to CCOT. That's very possible. So there you go. I thought you wanted updates on Kilmar Abrego Garcia. This is the link to the article that she shared out there. DOJ reportedly gave limited immunity to human smuggler who owned van. Oh, this was not it. This was from the video that I first showed you. So. Oh, I'm sorry. It is right. News emerged on Tuesday that U.S. Department of Justice, who the Tennessee Star reported last week is now investigating Kilmar Abrego Garcia, officially offered limited immunity to the owner of the vehicle driven by the El Salvadoran national on his November 2022 trip, according to the Tennessee Star. From Texas to Maryland. See, maybe this is why they call him Maryland Man. Maybe they call him Maryland Man because he's notorious for bringing people from Texas to Maryland. That's what they mean when they call him Maryland Man. Yeah, what did you think? Hello? Not everyone in Maryland is called Maryland Man. You only call him Maryland Man if you're bringing people from Texas to Maryland. That's how you earn your stripes. That little, those things on his knuckles, it's not MS-13. It's Maryland State Interstate Transport. That's what that is. That's what that is. It's briefly interrupted by Tennessee Highway Patrol traffic stop in Tennessee. After confirming the Star's previous reporting, ABC News report revealed that Jose Ramon Hernandez Reyes, who the U.S. Department of Homeland Security confirmed was the owner of the 2001 Chevrolet Silverado driven by Abrego in 2022. God bless, a 2001 Chevrolet Silverado hauling across country 21 years later. My God, impressive for Chevrolet there. Recently spoke to it, and it came like that. That's the 2001 model, comes with the extra row in the back. Comes like that. Everyone knows that. Really? You're a police officer? You don't realize that the 2001 Chevy Silverado comes with a fourth row in the back there? He recently spoke to a DOJ lawyer regarding the stop after being offered immunity. Hernandez Reyes was previously arrested in 2019, convicted of human trafficking in 2020. At that point, he was sentenced to 18 months behind bars, then deported and ordered not to return for 3 years. According to the Tuesday report, Reyes violated the terms of his sentence, illegally re-entered the U.S. sometime later, allowing DOJ attorneys to interview Hernandez Reyes at the Federal Correction Institute in Talladega, Alabama. The outlet, citing sources familiar with the interview, reported that Hernandez Reyes, quote, recently spoke with attorneys who asked questions about his connections to Abrego Garcia. Reyes reportedly told DOJ officials that he met Abrego Garcia in 2015, just 3 years after the latter man reportedly admitted to illegally entering the United States himself. After they met in 2015, the prisoner reportedly admitted to DOJ officials that he paid Abrego Garcia to transport illegal immigrants from Texas to various destinations throughout the United States. You see, I always wondered why we didn't hear stories from his clients of like the great plumbing help he gave them because he's Maryland Man, or the work he did as a mechanic. We never heard much about what the Maryland Man did for a living. Apparently, we know he's a driver. The Star was the first to report that Abrego Garcia was stopped by the THP, Tennessee Highway Patrol, in 2022 when he was transporting 9 people without a valid license. And the agency later confirmed it was instructed to release Abrego Garcia.
Plywood here, as you can see, we're almost completely sold out of it because a lot of small business owners have to purchase.
I apologize. Oh, I know what that is. Sorry about that. The Star was first to report that Alfred Hitchcock was stopped by THP in 2022 when he was transporting 9 people without a valid license. Later confirmed that it was instructed to release Alfred Hitchcock by the Biden-era FBI. DHS has additionally confirmed that troopers suspected Garcia of human trafficking during the stop. Garcia is an El Salvador citizen who was deported by the Trump administration, and you all know the story with that. He claimed the deportation violated final deportation order issued by his immigration case in 2019, which contained a withholding of removal that specifically forbade the deportation to one of 2 nations, either Guatemala or El Salvador. Body-worn camera footage released by the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security Star last week revealed Abrego Garcia was carrying $1,400 in cash at the time of the arrest. Hernandez Reyes was convicted of charging passengers $350 for transportation from Texas to other parts of the country. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Maryland Man. Now you know how he earned the title. A well-earned title, Maryland Man. This is faint. You call him a leftist. And you call this guy a leftist. The Dems want us to import them now from El Salvador. Deportation's not enough. That's... What are you suggesting? What do you want, Nate? What should we do to them, Nate? What should we do to them? Give him a map. Put him on the wall. Have you seen any of the latest updates on the Buffalo school stuff? You're talking about the stuff with Richard High and Fat Electrician? I saw a post from Fat Electrician about that, whose work, by the way, I've been watching recently. I've been binge watching Fat Electrician. That dude is entertaining as all get out. He is great. I'm a fan of Fat Electrician. He gives history stuff. I was watching a video today where he was which he put out recently about Terry, General Terry, which was just, dude was just badass. His work is phenomenal. So I saw that he was fighting with Buffalo school system, which is threatening to go after them in court. And he's like, bring it. And someone tagged me on that saying, Joe's there. And I was like, let's do it. That's the sort of legal case I can see myself biting into. I was thinking about trying to get Angry Cops on here. That's what I was thinking about doing. I want to get him on here. Maybe I'll reach out to him and see if he's interested in coming on so I can explore that further. He seemed like when this story where he's talking about it, he's very heartbroken where he's talking about the terrible abuse that's allowed to go on of students who are in the Buffalo school system, of young kids, that when they see abuse at home, that they're not reporting it the way that you would expect them to, and people coming into the school and attempting to kidnap. I think we covered this last week. Did I cover it? Maybe I had a dream that I covered it. I'm not even sure if I covered it. I think I did, though. I have to go back and look. The operating interstates, getting back to Abrego Garcia. Interstate bus service without a license or file regulations, government interference always hinders legitimate business endeavors. There you go. They're standing in the way of he's an entrepreneur. He's providing a service. Why does everyone call it human trafficking? Do you call Greyhound human trafficking? Do you? Those weren't actual people. They were holograms from space lasers. That's not true. That is not true. There's always a way to blame the Jews. There's always a way to blame the Jews. We can always bring it back to them. Oh, God. Can I give you a good story? You all want to inundate me with bad stories, like Buffalo schools. I I hate covering stories like that. I really do, because it just makes me depressed that we're dealing with terrible people and then others enabling that terrible activity. I hate that. I'm going to give you a story which I guess is good, even though it's actually a reflection of how ugly our society is. And that's, y'all were screaming about Pam Bondi doing nothing. Well, she and Kash Patel came out today to explain what they have been doing. And you should be pleased about this. It is brought to us by C-SPAN.
Already, today we are proud to announce the results of the FBI's Operation Restore Justice initiative. This historic, unprecedented nationwide operation led to the arrest of 205 child sex predators. Unbelievable. In just 5 days. This was an incredible operation done in conjunction with the FBI and our prosecutors.
205 predators in 5 days?
Children and their families now have a chance to heal. These are online predators. Think about this. 115 victims, children. In 5 days, we were able to help. This kind of work takes a toll on the FBI agents and the prosecutors who are doing this every single day. They are working tirelessly online, dealing with the dregs of our society, the worst of the worst, the people that hide behind a computer and target our young children every single day.
This is your reminder that next week I will be covering the Diddy trial. I'll be providing you videos. I expect to be dropping 2 videos a day. In the evening, I plan on going into greater detail about that. And this channel is going to be basically giving you a lot of Diddy work. Just giving you a heads up on that. And since we're talking about, even though I should point out to you, the criminal charges that are brought against Diddy seem not to charge him for any conduct against minors. So I don't know. I know what people say about his involvement with minors, but it seemed to be dealing with other criminal wrongs with respect to his particular appetites and things that he's done to violate other individuals' fundamental civil liberties, but not involving minors. I'll tell you this much. I want him held accountable for that. I'm not sure to the extent that, a lot of people have made claims about it. So if in fact there's any truth to those claims, I want him held accountable for that. But I, for one, personally, I can't, I'm kind of, when you're talking about kids being abused, it's a much more difficult story to cover.
Law enforcement, our prosecutors, sit there and deal with this every day to get these monsters off the street. Director Patel and I, almost daily in our meetings, talk about these cases and what it does to our officers and our prosecutors, but also how many lives are being saved and how many children are being helped by this.
Yes.
Director Patel is going to get into the specific cases with you in a minute, but what I will tell you is these depraved human beings, if convicted, will face the maximum penalty in prison, some life. We will find you, we will arrest you, and we will charge you. If you are online targeting a child, you will not escape us. The FBI and the Department of Justice will come after you, and we will prosecute you. Parents, you have to know this is so serious. Your child has no right to privacy on the internet. None. You have to monitor what your kids are doing, whether they're playing games on the internet, on social media, any other websites that children, teenagers frequent, an online predator can find them. I always say it's from instant message to instant nightmare. Parents, they're talking to your kids like they're other children, and they're not. They're predators. They pose as children, They get them sometimes to post explicit pictures of themselves after they talk to them. And then in some cases, they even try to blackmail the children. The suicide rate among teens ages 14 to 17 has increased as a result of this as well, because teens are taken advantage of and they're manipulated online by child predators. So all of you being here today and covering this is so important, because parents need to know. You've got to talk to your kids. They think they're talking to other children, but most of the time they're not.
I don't know. Most of the time they're not, but far too often they're not. So you have to be aware. Hopefully it's not most of the time. That'd be a really terrible state of events. But yeah, far too often they're not. And that's part of your parental responsibility. Part of your parental responsibility is to ensure that your kids are being kept safe. And the only way you can do that is if you're monitoring what's happening online. Now, I understand it's a little more difficult as they get older. I get that. But it's tough. It's a tough situation. I'm not going to kid you. It's a tough situation when you're dealing with someone who's, let's say, 13, 14, 15, 16. I mean, and I just want to pause and just talk with you for a second, because I know that in my society, the rules are very different, like very, very different than what it is for the rest of the world. So I sort of feel a little bit ill-equipped to address this. But like, what do you do with like 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds? Because in my society, they don't even have internet access. I know that's not reality in the rest of the world. I get that. And I'm not saying it should be the reality in the rest of the world. But you sort of have to like remember that you're a parent, I would think. Remember you're a parent and be like, look, if you have access, at the very least, you have some way of monitoring to make sure that they're not walking into a situation that they're imperiled. And that's an age when they're seeking to define themselves as separate and independent entities from the parent, and they want to keep secrets from the parent. So that particular age, in particular, is a minefield. Because most of them are dealing with confidence issues. The vast majority of them are dealing with confidence issues during that awkward phase when they're transitioning from being a child to being an adult. Teen years, are obviously some of the most turbulent years in the lives of many people, as they're trying to fit in socially, find their own space where they can define themselves separate and apart from the being under the wing of their parents. And at the same time, ensure that they're not going to find themselves in a situation that will compromise them and destroy the rest of their lives. This is a very, very difficult balance that I don't know. I struggle to sort of figure out where it is that a parent who's not keeping their kid off the internet, how do you decide where to draw that line? Like, how do you come up with an appropriate place that this is the right line, that I'm going to give them this space, but ensure that they're not ensure that they're not going to do something stupid that they're going to be paying for the rest of their lives, or it would become psychologically and emotionally damaging to them. I'm looking at the chat because I'm very curious. Occupant 42 says, I'm here to join Not a Cult. Is this the right place? And look at this. We got a big one from J.S. Schwalbach. J.S. Schwalbach drops a 50 saying, if you get angry cops on, I will have your babies. Okay, I'm a dude, but I will try my best. If you get Fat Electrician and Angry Cops together, big super chat. I don't know that I can get Fat Electrician on here. I'm not going to kid you. I don't think I can get him on. I do think I can get Angry Cops on. I do. I made an appearance on his channel. We hit it off very well. And we planned on getting together again. It just hasn't happened since then. It was a few months back already now. So I can reach out to him. I might even have his phone number. Let me see. You want his phone number? No, I'm not going to give his phone number. But I am curious if I have it here on my phone. I am curious if I have it in my phone, which would make it much easier for me to reach him. Much more likely that I'll get him on here. I do. I would say the Angry Cops. I do have his number. Well, that's good. Okay. All right. I'll try to reach out to him. Within the next 24 hours or so. Gino says, do not go down the rabbit hole 764. You don't need to know about them. This comes from Point of Love. I don't even know what 764 is. I have no idea what that is. James Keith just dropped a major bomb on YouTube. Did he? Did he? Did you give me a link? No. No. I actually was planning. Okay. Let me see. Let me see if there's like a new link from him on that he shows on X. That probably would happen. Let me see. Let me see what that. Got this. I was planning on sharing with you the clip from the clip with John Bryan. Is there something else? Is there something else I'm supposed to be looking at? It's Epstein info. Does she churn butter? She's gonna have a house raisin, a barn raisin. All right, I'm gonna let one of you find. If you can get that to me, that'd be great. If you can send me a DM, that'd be awesome. But I do want to get into what he shared today. This is John O'Keefe. What he calls a world exclusive. Prince Andrew was engaging underage girls. Now, we all knew he was engaging underage girls. That's not surprising. It's surprising to hear from someone who was a close confidant of his. That's what makes that new. That makes that new. So let's share that. Let me share that clip with you. Before I do that, I do want to welcome into the following Blaster Bot, who you got to love this. You got a new YouTube member. He's like, no, I'm not just joining the following myself. No. I'm going a step beyond. This might be a first that I've seen that. Maybe once before. I'm joining the following, and I'm bringing along 10 new freaking members to join in here. God bless you. Welcome to the following Blaster Bot. You may not be aware of this, but since you brought in 10 new, you came in and brought in 10 new members as part of your part of our recruitment drive, which we in the following greatly appreciate. I should clarify for you that when you hear the term the following, you know you become a follower, you might think that you join a cult. That is not what happened, okay? Because the following is not at all a cult, type of cult, in any way, shape, or form. There's no tracksuits that are mandatory, no spaceships, no Kool-Aid, zero Kool-Aid, no throwing virgins into volcanoes. It's just a group of like-minded individuals who are seeking greater personal growth. How do we get greater personal growth? You might say, Joe, Where does that come from? Where does that come from, the greater personal growth? That comes from community, unity, learning, and thinking. Community, unity, learning, and thinking. You might learn and then not think about what you learn. You need to learn and think. That is the only way that you can have greater personal growth. So, welcome to the following. And those who were brought in courtesy of Blasterbot. You might say, "Wait, was I one of the lucky few?" Before you told Linz that she joined in, and that was wrong. You're gonna give us the right ones. You're the freaking host. That's right, host, not the leader of the following, just the host. Following 10 people brought in. That includes D. Jerry Winfrey. When I call your name, that means it's appropriate. It's courtesy as a new member of the following to express your gratitude to Blasterbot for this very kind gift that he bestowed upon you, which is really the essence of life, greater personal growth. That is the essence of life, and he brought that to you as well. Teresa Shirk, Nick Smith, Blake for Life, Soundwave, TM3, Kayla Ollie, LE. Oh no, it jumped on me. Why did it jump? Don't jump. Don't jump. LE, The Final Metamorphosis, Brian Feeney, and Stanley Starts. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please express your gratitude, not to me, even though I'm the one welcoming you, but to Blasterbot for bringing you on in here. God bless you. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Karzep says, in good news, my oldest grandson, Ari Leib, named after my late father, will be bar mitzvah a week from Shabbos. Oh, Mazel tov. That's exciting. It's a miracle that I have progeny. No, it's not. I mean, I guess it is. Anyone, and all progeny is a miracle. So, God bless. Mazel. That's awesome. All right. I'm sure one of you is going to share with me the James O'Keefe YouTube video that I need to be sharing here. I hope it's not more than like 10, 12 minutes. So that's going to make me sad. But let's check this out here. James O'Keefe sharing out there saying world exclusive. World exclusive. Let's do it this way. Yeah, let's do it that way. Prince Andrew was with underage girls. This is John Bryan. John Bryan.
Prince Andrew, he was in the Navy. He was 250 days at sea. He never saw his family. I was really pissed because he lied to me. Epstein. And then I did a big thing in the Daily Mail saying that I believed Andrew. And then I found out he was lying. I was so pissed. No, he was underage girls. That's not cool.
John Bryan has been a close confidant to the British royal family for a long time. He worked for Queen Elizabeth II, was, quote, best friends with Princess Diana, and had a long-term intimate relationship with the Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson. According to Bryan, he practically raised Sarah Ferguson's children, the princesses Beatrice and Eugene. And Bryan said that he maintained a friendship with Ferguson's husband, the Duke
I'm just going to say that's British dental work right there.
of York, Prince Andrew.
Tell me like your story.
So my story, you want to know my story?
What?
Like I've been so famous at times. When I was on the front page of
I'll try to look for it. Thank you.
Because I was working with the Queen of England.
Okay.
You know, she's Queen Elizabeth. I was working with all the families, Princess Diana, my best friend. And I met Duchess of York.
Okay.
That's Prince Andrew's wife. They were separated. And then Sarah and I sort of fell in love. And we lived together for like 7 years.
Lived together with Sarah Ferguson for 7 years?
My house knew them. And I raised their 2 little children. For some reason.
Wait,
Beatrice and Eugenie. Those were my children. Those were my kids. I raised those kids. Day to day raised. I was father to those kids.
Prince Andrew's connection to Jeffrey Epstein emerged in 2010, when photos showed them walking together in New York's Central Park. Epstein had already been convicted in 2008 of procuring a 14-year-old girl for prostitution. In 2014, a woman named Virginia Giuffre alleged in a Florida court filing that Jeffrey Epstein paid her to have sex with Prince Andrew when she was 17, a minor. On April 25th, a few weeks ago, Giuffre died by, quote, suicide. Prince Andrew denied Giuffre's sex.
I think she did commit suicide. I don't think that was a Jeffrey Epstein situation, but who knows?
Abuse allegations in a now infamous 2019 BBC interview.
She said she had sex with you 3 times, once on his private island in a group of 7 or 8 other girls.
No.
No to all of it.
All of it. Absolutely no to all of it.
The interview was a public relations.
I apologize before we go further. I did miss 2 chats earlier. I don't know how that happened. But why do you think Jews have sole license on space lasers? Ronald Reagan introduced the idea, and he was not Jewish. That was in reference to when I said over here, always about the Jews. That's because I know Gene. That's why. Gene and I go back. We got history. I know Gene. That's why. This is Gene. Let me introduce you to Gene. Okay? That's why. But yeah, that's true. Ronald Reagan introduced the idea to the public. Or did he? Or maybe he thought he was introducing it. Maybe he thought that was his own free will. I know a guy in Long Island City, I missed this one also, who sent a moving crew to New Jersey with an expired motor carrier, and they sent an armed raid to intercept them. But Garcia, he's swell. So wait, when you said don't go to the rabbit hole 764, is that gonna be the holograms thing? Is that what you were saying? Maybe I'm confused. I don't know. 2/3 of the way. G. Sharkman had me laughing today, like anything, with some of the comments he had during the trial. I remember like 2 or 3 of his comments. I was like giggling like a kid.
Disaster for the royal family and prompted the Queen to strip Prince Andrew of his royal duties. In the aftermath of that interview, the prince sought advice from a longtime royal family confidant, John Bryan.
Confidant.
Oh, very good. Oh, no, we're very civilized. We'd go have dinner at his house. He'd have dinner at my house to see his kids. So then we go on a holiday in the south of France. And I get a big property, like 10 acres, right near Central Bay, right? You know, nobody has 10 acres. I'm on the biggest property, beautiful house. And I rent it so that we have privacy, right? Because the paparazzi are everywhere. There's hundreds of paparazzi, not 10, not 20, hundreds. I know.
And this is already one of Prince Andrew.
Yes, Prince Andrew. Yeah, he's on the. He was in the Navy. He was 250 days at sea. He never saw his kid.
2 weeks after Prince Andrew's BBC interview, John Bryan was brought to the Royal Lodge, where Prince Andrew lives, to offer crisis management advice. According to the Telegraph, the meeting was conducted discreetly. At the royal residence, Bryan observed that Prince Andrew was visibly distressed and struggling to focus, reportedly unable to concentrate for more than 40 minutes at a time due to the strain he was under. As reported in the Daily Mail, John Bryan constructed a 5-page document emphasizing that Prince Andrew should publicly show empathy for Epstein's victims. Back in November 2022, Bryan publicly stated that he believed Prince Andrew was innocent of the claims made against him related to the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking scheme. Now, in our exclusive hidden...
See, this is what didn't make sense about John Bryan's statement if you read out the whole thing there, where he wrote, I believe Andrew's innocent. If he genuinely was involved in orgies, as he's been alleged, then Epstein would have used that to try and bribe the Queen into paying out millions to protect their family. Andrew has never had any money. The Queen was the one with the money. That's assuming that that's what his agenda was to extort money rather than political favor.
Free Epstein sex trafficking scheme. Now, in our exclusive hidden camera undercover footage, John Bryan reveals for the first time that Prince Andrew did in fact have sex with underage girls.
What's the origin?
Other girls. I was so pissed about that. I was really pissed. I was really pissed because he lied to me about it.
Lied about
Epstein. Yeah. No, I knew he saw him, but he lied to me that he was such a close friend. I was so pissed. And then I did a big thing in the Daily Mail saying that I believed Andrew, and then I found out he was lying.
Now, our newsroom has some concerns about where this investigation is headed and who may be implicated. But our only motivation in doing these stories is the public's right to know. And if this report and our subsequent
So there you go. There you go. Subsequent reports
shine a light into darkness and expose evil, then we are willing to take the risks. At the end of the day, child victims of Jeffrey Epstein need to be protected. And the people...
I don't know what that means. They're scared about where it's going to go. Like, I don't know what that means. And I like James O'Keefe. As far as I think he does provide information that we wouldn't otherwise have without him. So in that sense, I think that he's an asset to the journalistic community, if that makes sense. He's an asset as far as further enlightening the world about scandals and corruptions. So he's doing something. He's accomplishing something. It was Zellian. God bless you, brother, for sharing. Gifting 5 subscriptions to Good Logic. I greatly appreciate that. I don't think, do they tell me who you, they don't tell me who. Oh, they do tell me. Following people gifted membership to Ghetto Denizens. That includes Suburbich. Suburbich. Sober V Tech, not Suburbich. That's your new ghetto name. Suburbich. That was really bad. That was really bad. Sober RV Tech. Sober RV Tech. Not Suburbich. My apologies. Suburbich. Sober V Tech, Bobby Peck. Janek 909 gifted, as well as Bonnie K and C. Spencer W. Welcome to Ghetto Denizen. That was embarrassing. Sober VTech saying, I've been called worse. Sorry about that, brother. I'm really sorry. I think I'm nearing. Let me see if I got that James O'Keefe thing. Did anyone share it with me? Jim jumped in there. Jim jumped in there and shared it with me. That's the same thing I just did. That was the same thing I just shared. He didn't just drop it. He dropped it earlier today, and I had that queued up. It was literally the same thing. But he's right. I'm on O'Keefe Media Group. I'm looking at it right now. The latest thing is this thing that we just watched. I was watching it through X instead of YouTube, but it's the same 6 minutes and 35 seconds. So, all right, we're covered. We're good. We're good. All right. So I need to reach out tomorrow. I'm gonna reach out to Jim. He's gonna be the first guy up that I'm trying out. We'll see how it goes. And I'm probably gonna be trying out a few people. So I have a few people in the queue who I need to get back to. He's the only one I've gotten back to so far. But yes, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. is the Karen Reed trial. I need to reach out to Angry Cops. I'm supposed to be making a phone call as soon as I finish my show here, which I'm certain that he's waiting for me. So I'm going to land my plane here relatively quickly. I thank you all for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the show and maybe even learned something. Who knows? Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., Karen Reed. Make sure you sign goodlogic.locals.com. That's goodlogic.locals.com. Goodlogic.locals.com. Please like, share, subscribe. If you're wondering how the channel analytics going, Joe, how's that going? Sort of. We were over 350 at some point today, but we're not anymore. Wait, there's 342. I don't know. This is the weirdest growth projection I've ever seen in my life. Normally you'd be going up by more than 7 when you're doing a trial. But at least this is not going down. That's baby steps, Joe. Baby steps. I will catch you all later. See you in the morning. Good night. Don't eat lab meat, they, them. We know that. Definitely not you. Not you. They, them. Don't eat the bugs. Good night and Godspeed.